Hello, darlings. If you're there, I'm not sure if you're there or not yet. But if you are, hello. And if you're not, I'm talking to myself. Oh, you're there now, aren't you? Here we go. Excellent, excellent. I've been so looking forward to this. Hello, my little bowls of egg fried rice. It's a huge pleasure to welcome you to. Oh, I was thinking, right, let's grab this. And then if things are pinging in on different things, I can answer them here, can't I? Jolly good, excellent. Um, Darker in the room than usual. Have you sold your bulbs? No, probably just the phone playing up or the interweb or something. A very warm welcome to Monday Night Live. It's Monday Night Live, and I hope you've had a fabulous weekend. And I am on the verge of clutching my little tinkle with excitement to be here with you, my lovely friends, once again. And yeah, what are we going to talk about tonight? We have got 2 hours to discuss anything we damned well please. Yes, we have. Ugh. And I'm really looking forward to it. And so, I don't know, talk about anything you like. Tell me about your weekend. How did it go? How is 2024 working out for you so far? Um, oh, we'll wing it. We will wing it. We'll just, uh, sit on my lap and we'll talk about the first thing that pops up. Jimmy Quinn is with us. Good evening, Boaty and all. Good evening, Jimmy. Steve Cole, good evening to you. What a joy to have you with us. What a joy to have you here. What a joy to be in your company. Kindly buy me a beer. In it, bruv. Uh, I do apologise. I was chatting pure breeze there. Uh, Joe, Cosby JC. Good evening, Jason and chat. Whoa. Hope we're all okay. I hope that too, Joe. Yeah, and Joe also hopes that we all had a good weekend. So, can everybody let Joe know if you've had a good weekend, a middling weekend, an indifferent weekend, or a downright shaggably awful weekend? Tracy is here and says, "Evening all, Happy New Year again. I'm stark naked apart from a pair of socks." Well, good to know, Trace, and thank you for being with us, and a very happy New Year to you. Hello, all, says Barry, also known as that guy from SETI Alpha 5. General Cheeseburger has graced us with his not inconsiderable presence and says, "Evening, all. No Carlos. Is he pissed?" That's a silly question, isn't it, Cheeseburger? Bad books, Mark. Good evening, all. Lord Stiff Upper Lip, the one and only. Hello, everyone. Pingu Concord. Pingu Concord, who, along with some others of you, has been a mainstay of whatever the flaming hell this is, pretty much since we started doing it. And Pingu says, "Greetings, goat of car dealing doings." Not, not lately, Pingu. Not lately. I've been a bit of a duffer of late. The only goat he knows is Curry, says Cheeseburger. He's late, says Barry. Apologies for that. Uh, well, I'll be honest with you. You remember I told you the other night that I mistakenly started a new community. Well, it's it's still tiny, but it seems to be growing quite rapidly. And I was just accepting some new members. About 50 of the buggers popped in. It's an over 50s travel community, if you were wondering. And I started it because I was pissed. You see, it's not safe to let me loose on the internet. Not when I've got wine inside me. Now, you're going to have to pardon me if I keep blowing my hooter. It was so terrifyingly cold today, and I haven't stopped shivering and sniffling. Jimmy Quinn says, hi, Cheeseburger. I was not knocking one out, Cheeseburger. Behave yourself. Not West Derby, he says, Barry. And oh, dear. Yeah, to your eyesight, Trace. Stephen S. Paul is with us nice and early. Evening, boatman and the rest of you. Oh, and Barry Scrotter says, oh, hello. And I'm sure, yes. Now then, Barry, you've just commented on, you've just commented on what's it called? Boaty's Noshes. I'm curious, do you eat carrots? Good question, Mr. Scrotter. Largely, no. Yeah, largely, no. I won't eat a cooked carrot under any circumstances. The only situations in which I will eat carrot are finely grated salad on finely grated carrot on salad, I can stomach, and carrot in coleslaw, I can stomach. Other than that, no, I don't eat carrots. And in terms of vegetables, like English vegetables that you'd eat with a roast dinner, there's only really green beans. When it comes to vegetables, I'm more your Asian and Oriental type. I won't eat carrots, I won't eat peas, I won't eat swede, I won't eat parsnip, I won't eat broad beans. None of those, no cauliflower, no cabbage, nothing like that. Certainly no peas, spiteful, vindictive little green bastards. I love things like bean sprouts and bamboo shoots and water chestnuts and all of those rather splendid articles. 2 hours of depravity, I hope, says Trace. Oh, be careful what you wish for, my dear. It's a very snowy early evening here in mid-Missouri, says Barry, and there has been a smattering of snow around the old United Kingdom today. So, has it snowed where you are? Pingu is shocked that I'm late. I do apologise. We should all drink water more often, unless we already drink enough of it. Jolly good for you. And I've got one of them there jugs. I've got one of these here jugs. Now then, Chinese madam bought this jug from a Chinese student in Sheffield as part of one of her house clearance buys. And because Chinese madam was living here entirely free of charge, never paid a penny in rent or contribution towards the bills or anything like that. So because of that, she very kindly let me have it for what she paid for it. I didn't have to pay any profit. She had a heart of gold, that woman, an absolute heart of gold. Bless her. I hope she's well and happy and getting plenty of the good stuff. Good cook you are, Boat, says Skick. You should do more. I enjoy them. I'm glad you enjoyed them, Skick, and I will do some more. Now then, I think we've got a messenger. Let's have a look. It's John, the lovely John. Oh, fucking hell. Sorry. Bloody hell. Evening, Jason. Hope you're well. I'm not good tonight, not well at all. I was rushed into hospital on early Saturday morning. I had a massive heart attack. I still feel like crap and I'm home, but still weak and ache all over. John. Jesus. Bloody hellfire. Oh, John. Oh, bless your heart. Well, literally bless your heart. God above. Talk about it never rains but that it pours. Dear oh dear. You're some battler though, our kid, aren't you? Whatever's being thrown at you, my God, you're ploughing through it, and no wonder you feel like crap. Um, oh, and that one is from Mustard, and he's just letting me know that he's editing the video, and some of it is, and I quote, piss funny. That's the video from today. Obviously, I was. Oh, and apparently it is classic Mustard and Boaty. I'm rather looking forward to seeing that. How is the Lewis, bruv? Asks Pingu. No update on Lewis. So Lewis is as he was, as you saw him in the video. He hasn't moved as yet. I've had lots and lots of advice. So I don't know. As soon as funds permit, I'll either get him down to the guys at Ladywood, or I'll get the what's his name, David, the mobile MG mechanic-y chap, to come and have a look at him, I suppose. I mean, there's not much that I can do. Somebody said take the distributor cap off, and then they kindly told me what the distributor cap was, how to find it. I wouldn't bloody know, would I? And gives that a jolly good drive. But Mustard said if I've driven it during the space of an evening, which I have, the heat should have dried any moisture that was in there out anyway. So that might be. So I don't know. It's beyond me, of course. Sunday lunch yesterday, says John Maruzzi, looked great, complete with bachelor bodges from the freezer of last resort. Yeah, the freezer of last resort really did come to the rescue on that one, didn't it? General Cheeseburger asks, how is the dustbin? What's the dustbin? Are we talking about James? I've got lots to tell you about James. If that's what you're talking about, Cheeseburger. Oh, hello. This one is from Neil, who says, I reckon I may know what's up with the Metro. I think you have a dodgy rotor arm. Lots of people have said dodgy rotor arm, but the rotor arm has been replaced twice in the last 600 miles. So, what are the chances of both new rotor arms being dodgy? It's not. Well, I mean, I suppose it's possible, but doesn't seem likely to me. Oh, could be cheap rotor arms, says Neil. Well, yeah, that's something else that a lot of people have said. Just because componentry has been replaced doesn't mean that it's not failed. It could have been replaced by subpar, substandard equipment. I mean, somebody who knows what they're doing needs to have a look at it, don't they? Hello, Boaty, and everybody in the chat, says Chris Alderman. Good evening to you. Has anyone heard from John? Asked Cheeseburger. We have now. Bloody hell, haven't we just? Tom Kerridge's Christmas roast carrots are great, but very sweet. Oh, and that's cleared that up then. It has indeed, Barry. No peas, work of the devil, says Trace, quite rightly. Cheeseburger says, Boaty likes his vegetables like his women. Yeah, Oriental. Evening all, says Mark Prasad. My wife hates cooked carrots, but will eat carrots sauteed in butter and orange juice. Weird. Oh, change your chat to live chat. Change your chat to live chat. Yeah, I forgot to do that again. Apologies if I have missed any messages. Another little update from John. I honestly thought my number was up, Jason. Oh, God, I'm not surprised. But I'm not going to give up yet. Good man. And I have to keep strong for my family and friends like you and all of the community. You bloody do, mate. Don't even think about giving up. We won't let you. Don't forget, we're coming to have a drink with you as soon as you're up for it, as soon as you're up or up to it. And it's your round. Where did I get to? Ah, right. Yes, I've done that. Barry says, I like my vegetables like I like my women too. Nude, slimming, and inviting. Good evening, says Dick Dastardly. Only just time to pop in for salutations. It's lovely to see you, Dick. Been a bit of a stranger of late, dear boy. There appears to be something on fire to the right in the kitchen. Is there? Where? The candle is on fire. Oh, hang on. No, right, okay, that doesn't matter. I don't think there's anything on fire, but do point me in direction of the thing that you think might be. What's on? My wallet definitely isn't on fire. It tried to snow in Oldbury earlier, says Barry Scrotter, but went as soon as it came. Joe asks, how was the caravan lunch with the mystery guest? And did you get your buttered sausage, chips, and curry sauce? The caravan lunch with the mystery guest didn't happen, sadly, and unavoidably. And I didn't get my battered sausage, chips, and curry sauce. So kind of a double failure there. Okay, I don't get that. That's what it is, Pingu. I didn't recognize it out in the open like that. What? You didn't recognize what? What? My wallet? Is that what you're talking about? Oh, you're confusing me. I'm a bear of little brain. Thoughts are with you, John. That's from Barry. Neil says, hello all, how are we? I'm sorry I'm a bit late at the show. I was having a power nap. Yeah, well, comes with age, Neil. Comes with age. You need to have a bit of a nap now and then. Tracy's sending a heart to John. Oh, cheeseburgers. Oh, yeah. Cheeseburger, Barry, all sending their best. Stephen S. Paul is, Joe. Oh, dear me. Yeah, indeed. Pingu asks, will your P-scan communicate with Lewis? I'm told that it will, Pingu. I'm told that it will, but I've not tried as yet. Cheeseburger says it's had new dizzy caps and leads recently. Yes, all of the above. Distributors are usually found in the trunk, says Stephen S. Paul. Not in this one, they're not. If I was to guess what's wrong with Lewis Hamilton, and this is from John, I think it's a cracked distributor cap and rotor arm, and HT leads may be broken, and the spark plugs maybe need changing. Well, yeah, I mean, that's perfectly possible, but they were all done a couple of 100 miles ago at the cost of £400. I showed you the invoice on the video. The previous owner paid 400 quid to have all of that done. So you'd think it would have been done properly, wouldn't you? Keep fighting, John, says Pingu, and we all echo that. Your new oven looks great, mate, says Joe. The flux capacitor probably wants changing on Lewis, says Barry, helpfully. Barry suggests that Lewis's warp drive might need more dilithium crystals. You only need an 8mm socket and a Phillips screwdriver to change the rotor arm, Boaty. Oh, I've got an 8mm socket and I've got a Phillips screwdriver. Is this a job that I could do? Oh, right you are, John. He is watching, just to let you all know. So he will be seeing your kind messages. Is the timing out on the Metro? Asked Richard Mann. Not sure on that. If you can adjust the timing through turning the distributor cap. Haven't got a clue. Boaty's arse is on fire, said Steve Nespaul. It was the other day. Today, not so bad. Tricia Alderman is with us. Hello, Jason and everyone. Would putting some injector cleaner through it be a good shout? Asked Barry. I've got no idea. At least you got to see James, says Joe. Didn't I get to see James? Oh, yes. Skick says a better car from Mustard. Nice colour and low mileage. Could be a good flip. I tell you what, Skick, that is an absolutely lovely car. We went out to get lunch in that. Mustard drove it there. I drove it back. And what an absolutely super car. And yeah, we're looking for an immediate flip on that one. So we took some photographs of it today, and that will be going straight up for sale tomorrow. In other car for sale news, there's going to be a bit of a change of policy at Mustard and Boaty Do Cars, because Mustard can't say no to a car, can he? And he can't say no to the opportunity to save a car. So we've got a bit snowed under. So some of them, rather than keep them long term and try and pretty them up a bit, instead of that, we're going to sell them for just a drink on top of what they owe us. So not going to do masses of work to them or anything like that. We're just going to, a few of them, selected few, we're just going to knock them out super cheap to the right people. And the new owners can then take them on and do whatever they want to do. So an example of that would be Dented Doris. Do you remember Dented Doris that Mustard and I went and picked up from Llandudno? Hasn't got a straight panel on it, and it's got a few miles of it. But it's a car that was in long-term ownership. It drives fantastically, and it flew through a new MOT with 0 advisories. So that's going to be going on sale very, very shortly, dirt cheap. So if anybody wants a bit of a project or a winter daily, a modern classic winter daily or something like that, then it's going to be a beautiful driving Rover 25 with the best part of a full MOT, and it's going to be cheap as chips. It's just going to be a little bit of a drink on top of what it owes. And we're going to be possibly doing the same with a few others, just because we've got more cars than Mustard has got time and hands. Where are we? Dave Smith says you should do a quiz. Should I? If I were still UK based, says Barry, I'd have Mustard's new 1.4 like a shot. It's cute. It really is cute, Barry. It's a lovely little car. And remember, it's a company car, not just a Mustard car. It's a me car as well, although obviously I've had nothing to do with it. Unlike James, which was my doing. Sorry, I've got to go. Bedtime. Bye, says Lord Stiff Upper Lip. Thank you for popping in. Good night. Sleep well. You can do it, Boaty, says Pingu, talking about the rotor arm. Probably. Oh, and John is amongst us now. Hey, chat, and hi, hey, Boaty. Hello to you. Neil says, just get Fred the shed out of the yard and use that. Use it for what? Use it for what, Neil? It hasn't got an MOT on it. And it's not been fixed properly, I don't think. I think it's just had a bodge. And more to the point, I wouldn't drive Fred the Shed, even if I had a full biohazard suit on. Fred's alive, which is nice, says Barry. I suppose so. Dave Smith very helpfully says the Metro would run better on petrol and not used chip fat. Very helpful comment there, Dave. Thank you very much. Now, to those who've been asking about petrol in Lewis, as in how old it is, should you put an additive in it, all of that. The petrol was new in Lewis. It was a full tank. It was the good stuff, and it had Redex in it as well. So it's not an issue with the petrol. I think we can say. Neil says Dave, I reckon, is pissing in the tank. There was no room to piss in the tank. The tank was full. Cheeseburger says, sorry you've had a bad weekend, John. That bloody hell, that's an understatement, isn't it? Fred's alive, says Trace in her best Brian Blessed voice. Mustard's latest purchase, Johnny, looks great, says Pingu. I would buy it if I didn't have too many rovers already. I'm a fighter, Cheeseburger, mate, says John. So thank you for the nice words. And Cheeseburger replies, we're all with you, John. We really all are. I really like the Rover 400, says Joe. And Mark says, is that the oak green one? It's an unusual colour. Keep going, John. Keep going, mate. Yes. And he's not going to give up. He's not giving up. Oh, no, 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 no. It was new fuel in 1997. The first owner put it in. No, it wasn't in 1997. Oh, Neil, you little tease. Is the Metro using a lot of petrol as it was a full tank? Might be another clue. It did seem to be gobbling up the petrol, except that all I can see is the fuel gauge. And of course, the fuel gauge was going down quicker than I would expect, but then it's a really small tank. I mean, the previous owner said it only cost 35 quid to fill up. So it's not surprising it was going down at a fair old rate of knots, is it? Case series were designed to run on E10 apparently for export markets. Yes, I've certainly heard that. Petrol prices are coming down. Saudi have agreed to pump more barrels. It's now a bear market. Right. And I've actually caught up with the comments. Well done to me. So, the lunch didn't happen today, but we did have lunch, just us, and I did film it. And I think it's going to be a good one, actually. I've not watched it back yet, obviously, but I think it's going to be worth a watch. And today's was cancelled due to a family medical situation last night, by the way, and it will be rescheduled. Next Monday is all booked in. Oh, good question, Bad Books. Did Sheeson pass the MOT okay? Oh, and that reminds me, I need to get some bits from the car. one nice new MOT. So, yes, he did. They did. They did. Yeah, so we got a pass. There are 4 advisories. Tire slightly damaged, stroke cracking or perishing near side rear, and the same for offside rear. I put new front tires on Sheeson whenever it was last year or back end of the year before. Can't remember when it was. So at some point, over the next 12 months, I need to put new ones on the rear as well. And brake pads wearing thin front and brake pads wearing thin rear. So, yeah, that's a good MOT, isn't it? For how old is he? How old are they? God, it's really awkward having a non-binary car. You keep forgetting, and I try to be correct. Now, Sheeson is 2002, aren't they? So, oh God. So they are, wait a minute. So they're 22 years old, aren't they? So that's not a bad MOT. Couple of tyres and a couple of brake pads. I mean, they're wearing parts, aren't they? So I can't grumble at that. I cannot grumble at that at all. And next Monday, I will be taking Dick a Dum Dum, and that's the MOTs all up to date, with the obvious exception of Brian. Now, a little Brian update. Um, I saw in Mustard's video that he was getting in the way again and he can't be moved because there's a problem with the key fob. So I messaged Mustard and I said, enough is enough. We'll scrap him. He's just got to go now. He's a liability. He's in the way. Blah blah blah. So I got a quote from Motorwise, who have offered £229 for Brian, for scrap. I presume that they recycled the parts, so bits of him would live on. Now, Mustard isn't keen. Well, Mustard is very not keen for him to go to scrap. But then that's Mustard. He wants to save everything, doesn't he? It's how long do you let it drag on? How long do you let it drag on? It's been don't worry about that, Neil. It's not you. It's it's not your problem, is it? You've already done more than enough. But it's 8 months or something. It's been parked up in the yard now, and bear in mind that he's costing me money every month. Okay, he's sawn now, so I'm not paying tax, but I'm paying insurance for him every month, and it's just money being pissed in the wind, isn't it? And oh, bless you, thank you, mate. And now there's the problem with the key fob as well, and that panics me because he's facelift, so it's a Pectron unit. He must have got it working again by just jiggering about with the fob before, but it's just endless bloody problems, isn't it? And he's just really getting in the way. And, I find it depressing I hate cars just sitting around endlessly and just degenerating. And it's been 8 months. So, we had a bash at fixing him. It can't happen. So scrap it. But Mustard's really telling me he's going to be really upset if I scrap him. But what do you do? How long do you give it? And it's I don't know. I just think it's time to give up. I see JM commented on the lunch video. Nice of him, says Cheeseburger. I don't think he actually commented directly, did he? He just, I think, but he did reply to somebody else's comment about the peas, I think. Sheeson passed 100%, says Joe. That's a cracking 25. That it is a cracking 25. I love Sheeson to bits. They were an absolute joy to drive today. Probably still my favourite car. You know, overall, probably still my favourite car. I mean, obviously, Minge Bag and Wet Leg are more exciting on a beautiful summer's day. Stigba is more exciting in many ways, but as an all-round car, Sheeson is just amazing. I mean, they're properly quick, nippy, handle great, really comfortable, lovely, absolutely lovely. Which other show presenter fecks off halfway through, says Cheeseburger? Loads of them do. You just don't get to see it. I mean, if it's a pre-recorded show, then they'll have breaks. And if it's like a radio show, then, you know, every time a record comes up, they'll nip out for a piss or a fag or whatever. You know, can't just sit on my ass for 2 straight hours, can I? Did JM say it was shit, asks Mark, and Cheeseburger says he kind of suggested it. Have I missed a comment on that video? So I've not, other than the reply to a comment, I've not seen a comment from James. Let's have a look. No, I can't see any comments from James. Well done, Sheeson, says Joe. When's it due a service? Now. It's due a service now, not on mileage, but they are due a service on time. So yeah, anytime now. And Joe goes on to say you should always, it's always nice to treat a car to a nice service when they pass an MOT. That's a good enough idea. Great news on Sheeson, says Mark, and cheap enough advisories to get sorted at your leisure. Don't scrap Brian, says Joe. At least sell him to the Rover community who will save him and you'll get more pounds for him. Who's going to buy him? Who's going to buy Brian, the state he's in? My God. What sort of masochist would actually hand over money for him apart from the scrap man? Has Brian got a decent wings? Might be worth keeping some spares for Sheeson, says Mark. That's not a bad shout. Cheeseburger says Mustard doesn't want to scrap anything that's beyond repair. You should let him take a look at your teeth. John says if Brian goes for scrap, then there's no point just shuffling any other old Rovers around the country. 229 quid, says Cheeseburger. It's worth at least £4,000. Evening, everyone, says Simone of Hooked on Classics. A bargain at £4,000, says Joe. Skick says scrap it and move on. At this point, Skick, I agree with you. It's been way, way, way too long. Way too long. It's in the way. It's falling apart. It's getting damp. It's got trees growing out of it. You know, I think Brian's time has come, really. And I could save some money every month. I mean, with the money I've paid for Brian while he's been parked up in the yard, I could have bought a nice car with an MOT staffed. Uh, Good evening, Boaty, says Frank G _05. I bought myself a ZR yesterday. Oh, well, tell us all about it, Frank. We'd love to know. Hi, Simone. Good video tonight. That's from Jimmy. Oh, hello, Mustard's here. Hello, Foggies. Hello, Mustard. Is the video all done, or have you just popped in mid-edit? Red hair suits you, Simone, says Barry. Mark says, Joe, Boaty needs a 20-litre barrel of 1040 semi-synth and a mixture of oil filters and some spannering for his fleet. Dented Doris is a great car, says Mustard. Yeah, I haven't got any oil in stock at the moment, so I do need to get some oil. There's a question. One of you will know this. Where is the best place to buy oil? Or where's the cheapest place is what I'm really asking, I suppose. From a motor factors. You haven't got time, Neil. You haven't got time, mate. I mean, I could drive them down to you if that would help. There you go. There you go. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I need some oil. So I mean, oil is oil, isn't it? Oil is oil as long as it's the correct viscosity, and I'm pretty sure that all of mine are 1040 semi. So I think the last lot I bought were from bloody hell, could you? That'd be some going there. I think the last lot I bought was from I think it was from Home Bargains or one of them. So local motor factors, says Simone. Cheeseburger says the cheapest place for oil is Halfords. Just wait for the security guard to go to lunch. Yeah, that's right. Halfords are giving away free oil to anybody who can run faster than a security guard whilst carrying an armful of oil. I have veg oil, says Simone. God, that's worth a fortune these days. Frank says, I got the ZR from Scotland and drove it 4 hours back. It drives absolutely bob on. It's on 57,000 miles. It's a 1.4 and has minimal rust. I'm so glad I finally got one. Well, I'm glad for you, Frank. Is it pre or post facelift? I would like to know. Sounds nice, Frank, says Cheeseburger. Yeah. Let's grab a bit more water. It's not wine o'clock yet, is it? Oh, it's not far off. Should I put my wine in the freezer? Oh, dear. Oh, shit. Whoops. Look what I left in the freezer last night. I think it's fair to say that it's frozen. I was really tired last night, darlings. I was really tired by the time I went off to Kip. Oh, dear. Now, at 11 o'clock, darlings, I'm going to pour myself a glass of wine and I'm going to talk about James. And I may be about to eat some humble pie and admit that you were all maybe a little bit right and I was maybe a little bit wrong about James and his general state of loveliness or otherwise. But that will be coming at 11 o'clock. So you're going to have to wait a little bit for that. I did indeed freeze my wine. I always get oil and stuff like that for free, says Stephen Espel. You'd be surprised what people leave in their cars, even when they junk them. I, I thought I was getting some for free when we bought Dented Doris. There was a box of stuff, including a 5 litre thing of oil and the original stereo. And I thought, well, that'll be useful. And then the cheeky cow wanted 100 quid for the box. And I offered her 35 quid. And she said, no, absolutely not, which I thought was a bit miserable. It was the wrong oil for her replacement car. And I don't know what she thought she was going to do with the original stereo, but she wasn't having it. So there you go. And I normally get oil like that for free. It often comes in the car, but I've completely run out, haven't got any. And I've started doing grown-up things like checking levels and stuff. I'm getting used to the idea of having cars long-term rather than having cars for 2 or 3 months, so I don't have to check anything. And I'm trying to be a good owner. Trying. Oh, I know what else I need to do. Chill the old wine glass. But today was actually, apart from freezing my titties off, today was a really good day. It was a proper old school mustard and boaty day. we did quite a lot of shouting at each other, which was amusing. Oh, it's a pre-facelift in black, says Frank. And Cheeseburger says, I prefer pre-facelift. I think we all do. I think we all do, don't we? I mean, what is there to prefer about a post-facelift car? I mean, I suppose there's not much I prefer about post-facelift. And I must admit, I did kind of make myself a promise that I wouldn't bugger about with post-facelifts anymore. I mean, the Pectron issue alone is kind of enough to put you off. Life is just so much simpler with a pre-facelift. The cost of oil at main dealers is a rip-off, says Cheeseburger. I have a service plan on mine, but they invoice oil at over 100 quid. Bloody hell. The pre-facelift do look a lot sportier, says Neil. I just prefer the look of them generally, and you get a button for the boot. That's nice, and you get the nicer, better quality interior. And I prefer a proper pre-facelift because they did a pre-facelift, didn't they? Where some of the pre-facelift cars had some of the facelift features. Nigel is one example. We've got a couple of others that are as well. Whereas Sheeson is full pre-facelift, and I prefer the full pre-facelift. The post-facelift looks like Katie Price's tits, says Cheeseburger. I suppose you could admire the money-saving efforts from Rover, in inverted commas, says Frank. Smith and Allen do all grades of oil on eBay, says Mark. Just checked. £66 posted for a 20-litre barrel. Used them for years. Bloody hell. Cheesy, it's a swindle when you have a service plan, says Neil. They book the most expensive oil and filters and most likely oil flush and petrol flush. I got, says Stephen Espel, a 1998 BMW 740L, open brackets E38, close brackets, from the original owner for free this past Saturday. 30,640 original miles, V8 and loaded, all paperwork. Brand new, this thing cost $71,390. Very nice lady. Just got sick of it. Bloody hell. Well, it's all right for some, isn't it? The leather squishy dash is my favourite in pre-project drive models. Simone is going to service her 75 soon, seeing as she passed the MOT. It's well deserved. Oh, hello. Pingu says, FYI, Boaty, HJ has resumed frontline duty today and has performed well in the snow. Oh, and Skick says that Simone's 75 looks good with the black sills. Oh, I was going to have some water. Shall I have some more water or shall I just wait until 1 o'clock? Might as well wait now, hadn't I? Oh yeah, and lunch today, I didn't get my battered sausage. I gave Mustard the option. We couldn't remember whose turn it was to pay for lunch. And so I said to him, right, if you pay, you can choose, because he didn't want Chippy. So I said, if you pay, you can choose. But I am happy to pay, but we're going to the Chippy. And he just took straight off to Istanbul and he paid. And it's a normal thing. He had his crappy looking curry. And I had the kebida with chips and salad. And it was all right. It was okay. It was quite nice. I just really fancy battered sausage, chips, and curry sauce. I've still got that Beefeater voucher, and that's about to go out of date. So maybe one day this week, maybe tomorrow or Wednesday, I shall treat myself and go to the Beefeater for lunch. Well, I won't treat myself massively because the voucher's only for a tenner. But they do a daytime menu where you can get 2 courses for £11.45. And I've had a look at the menu, just for a couple of hours. I do obsess over these things. And for a starter, I could have the tomato soup with warm ciabatta, or I could have chicken goujon with a barbecue dip. And then for the main, I thought I'd just go for the old burger, unless I want to pay £1 supplement and I can have a steak. But I quite fancy the burger. And with the chicken goujon things to start. So, that'll cost me £1.45. I always fancied a ZR pre-John Towers money-grabbing version, says Barry. Push the boat out, Boaty, says Pingu. Have some Vimto. Frank says, mine, ZR, just had a new clutch, timing belt, water pump, radiator, and the whole engine was taken from a Streetwise after the old one seized. And I got it for £1,000, I forgot to say. Oh, was it Boaty's old Streetwise last cheeseburger? Battered sausage, says Simone. Oh, shit. Is he going to start talking about his dick again? Oh, I'm not sure if it was Boaty's old Streetwise, to be honest, says Frank, but it was silver. By the way, says Skick, I've noticed over time that Hubnut uses some of Simone's sayings. No coincidence, he says. There you are. HJ benefited from Italian tune-up, says Pingu. Up to 90 without too much trouble. Excellent. And did anyone see the Beards and Bangers video from Longbridge yesterday? A Yacht 24 meet. And Simone says, Skick, I've been watching Open Up for at least 5.5 years. So there we are. And it's 4 minutes to 1 o'clock and my James confession. So what would you like to talk about for 4 minutes? Trying to think if there's anything else to tell you. No, can't think of anything. I've told you that the new car, the new 25, absolutely fabulous. Really, really nice. I mean, it's got, it's weird. It's got, the odd dent and imperfection and whatnot. One quite significant dent but it doesn't look like a dented car. It looks super clean, super well cared for, and it's been improved in a variety of ways. Um, so it's not completely original, but all of the improvements are actual improvements. The nice leather interior, front fog lamps, all of that sort of thing. So that's all good. Now it is missing a stereo. Doesn't have a stereo in it, but I have got. If anybody was interested, I've got the correct stereo for that car with the code. It's Blaupunkt CC32, which is absolutely the correct fitment for that. So if anybody's interested in the car, bear in mind that there is a correct stereo available. Um, oh, cheeseburger. Cheeseburger's coming into form. Simone said, I've been watching Hubnut for at least 5.5 years, and Cheeseburger asked Simone, has he fixed anything in that time? Does anyone know, asks Frank, where I can find out where and when there are Rover meetups? Good question. Facebook groups is where I see most of them, or other social medias, I suppose. Have you driven Mustard's red box yet? The Hyundai, no. But we did sit in it today to try and get warm, and had a little drive around the yard in it. But it's still waiting to have the brakes done. The parts were bought some time ago, but not been fitted yet. We need to get somebody to do that. But I love that little car. Cheeseburger, says Stephen S. Paul, talking about his BMW. It's too nice to do anything with. All paperwork for new. Still has a 19 eras radar detector on the dash. I'll definitely be keeping it, and I might even have it validated. I had fish and chips with mushy peas for dinner, says Simone. I can't stop farting. Oh dear. Too much info, Simone, says Cheeseburger. Was it a takeaway fish, chips, and mushy peas, Simone? And if it was, how much did it cost? Because somebody commented in Singles the other day that they couldn't afford to eat takeaway fish and chips anymore, and it is now 11 o'clock. 1 o'clock, darlings. Here we go. Let's start with the frozen. Okay. Two rules when pouring wine. Always have the label facing the customer. Never allow the bottle to touch the rim of the glass. Although, at my restaurant, we do it the posh way. We use a napkin when we pour the wine. Fine dining, ladies and gentlemen. Although not enough people order wine. Cheers, darlings, your very good health. Seems to be a British thing that when you go out for a curry, you have Indian beer, which is about as Indian as my left arse cheek. It just has a snake-based name like Cobra or Mongoose. It's just bloody Carling Black Label in a different label. I think all lagers are the bloody same. I'm convinced that all lagers come from one central lager depot, and they all just have different labels on them. Because let's be honest, it all tastes the same, and it all tastes like shit. Drink wine, you people. So that's what sets us apart from civilized countries like France and Italy. What should be on your dining table with every meal is wine and water. Each place setting should have 2 glasses, one for wine, one for water. And people shouldn't drink so much beer. Oh. Mark informs Frank that Pride of Longbridge is in March-ish. Well worth a visit and get a pick at the factory gates. And Cheeseburger says the gates and the roundhouse are virtually all that's left now. Did you announce the asking price for Johnny whilst I was in the bath? Asked Pingu. No, I didn't. No, not a takeaway. I cooked it, says Simone. So you are responsible for your own flatulence then, aren't you? You have nobody to blame but yourself. And on the subject of supper, I've told you about lunch. On the subject of supper, I've had staff curry every night for about the last 16 months. So tonight, I haven't properly decided yet. I'm either going to make some Chinese chicken curry or some noodles. But I think it's probably going to be the curry. And I think I'll probably have noodles for lunch tomorrow, unless I go to the pub. And I shouldn't do that because I had a takeaway for lunch today. And I shouldn't do 2 days running, should I? So I might do noodles for lunch tomorrow. Streaky beard. And then go to the pub on Wednesday. That might be nice. Yeah, I might do that. And have the burger. Boaty's World, sponsored by Simone's Boff. I never saw it back in the day, unfortunately, Cheeseburger. Talking about Longbridge. Weird being in the park. I remember seeing Red Robbie shouting the odds on news round back in the late 1970s. I had cooked fish and chips as well, said Cheeseburger. No mushy peas, though, and no change out of a tenner from the chip shop. Why don't you put it to the vote regarding scrapping Brian? Jolly good idea, Skick. Jolly good idea. Right. So, rather than swapping in between the doings, I will do the sensible thing and... Oh, hang on. I'm going to be moving the microphone. Let's deploy the MacBook. And then I can have both doings open at the same time, can't I? Oh, hold on. Ooh. They're not the easiest thing to open. Ah, there we are. There we are. Oh, God, that's nice. I wish you could see this picture. What's my password? Ah, there we go. Right, so what do I press? That one. God, it's quick, this thing. And then that one. I still can't work out how to get iMovie on this. Ah, right. Then I press this. And I press this. Oh, sound. Go away. Press this. Oh, sound. No, go away. Stop. Press this. Shush. Ah, there we are. There we are. There we are. Hold on. Right. So, what do I press now? No, that's not it. Not that. That one? Ah, here we are. Okay. Now, the reason that I'm going to crack on the iPad, I watch the comments and whatnot on the app, on the YouTube app. But in order to start a poll, I need to be on a browser. That's why I've got a separate thing. And what I don't know is whether you can see the poll if you're watching on the app. I'm not sure if you can. Maybe you can tell me. I'm pretty certain you can't see it on the iPad app. Maybe you can on the iPhone app or on the Android app. Okay, so, and then add an option. Oh, I'm enjoying using the MacBook. Okay, right. Oh God, you're all voting. I can't press my finger, can I? I have to. Right. Oh, it's changing all the time. 17% say scrap, 20% say scrap, 27% say scrap, 45% say keep and repair where possible. I meant to put when. I meant to put when. Might have auto-corrected. 23% are now saying scrap. 38% are saying keep and repair when possible. And 38% are saying try and sell as spares or repairs. So it's, it's neck and neck between keeping him and trying to get him repaired and just selling as spares and repairs at the moment. Oh, now try and sell as spares and repairs has now gone into the lead with 43%. 14 of you have voted. Right, if I move that there, I can still see it. And move this back to there. I feel very professional with all of this setup. God, it's like an episode of Tomorrow's World, isn't it? It's like Star Trek. Oh, no. Right. Scrap 25% and 38% each on the other two options. Okay. Where did I get to? Oh, Simone farting. That's where I got to. Skick saying put it to the vote about scrapping Brian. Well, that's there. 16 of you have voted. 13 of you have liked this nonsense, which is very kind of you. Thank you, you 13. Mostly brewed, lager is mostly brewed in Burton, says Cheeseburger. I'm not, no, they're not, Jimmy. A lot of Rover meter at Broadmoor, cheeky son. Every time I buy from any takeaway, says Skick, I check if they wear hairnets. If not, I feck off. Finding hairs knocks me sick. Simone says the mushy peas were in a tin, and that's probably where the gas is from. And which car is Brian? I'll tell you in a minute. I'll just catch up with the comments. The Pope held a mass in the park on his last visit. He couldn't save any Rovers, though, says Cheeseburger. Loads of V8 Rover 75s got stuck in the mud leaving the park. Mind, it had been raining a lot that week. Save Brian, sell him as a project, says Barry. Willis Brian. Daft suggestion, offer Brian to community for scrap pounds for a limited time And if there are no takers, scrap the poor little thing. Cheeseburger says, I would have thought they'd have been okay. They weren't rear-wheel drive in the V8, were they? Yes, they were. They definitely were rear-wheel drive. Oh, poll update. 28% say scrap. 33% say keep and repair. 39% say sell as spares and repairs. Working these polls like a pro, says Chaz Brown. There should be a fourth option, says Cheeseburger. Could you really care less? Oh, and Joe clicked on the wrong poll option. Right, okay. So Brian, for those who don't know, which includes Simone apparently, Brian is my ex-Project Nigel car. Brian was a Project Nigel project car, which I bought. What do you mean, what colour is Brian? What sort of question is that? Starlight Silver Metallic, obviously. And Brian is a Rover 25, facelift. It's a GSI 16 valve 1.4 with quite a nice specification. Air conditioning, full black leather upholstery, electric windows all round, front and rear. Used to drive fantastically, really, really, really well. Drove every bit as well as Sheeson, from what I remember. Somebody's loved him in the past. He's had a very expensive stereo in there at some point. He hasn't got one now. And my plan for Brian was as follows. I got Mustard to save the ZR roof spoiler that he's got in the correct colour, Starlight Silver Metallic, and that was going to be fitted to Brian. I got Mustard to save the stereo out of Eric, because that is the original OEM fitment for the facelift. It's the Sony CD unit, very much of its time, but it will communicate with the steering wheel controls. Brian's got an aftermarket in at the moment, not the posh after. I know he had a posh one in at some point because he's got a microphone and a DAB radio aerial, so he had a posh stereo in it. But when it came to me, and when he came to Mustard beforehand, he had an aftermarket stereo in him, but not a super duper posh one. But nonetheless aftermarket, so the steering wheel controls don't work. So the stereo from Eric has been saved. So that was supposed to go in him. He's supposed to have the roof spoiler fitted. And I was going to put 60. He's on the original 15-inch turbines alloys at the moment. And I was going to fit him with 16-inch hairpins. And I promised Brian. Now, I used Brian as my daily last winter. And if you watched my videos from the time, you will see that I took Brian through hell, literally through hell. I mean, there's a video where I'm trying to drive to work over the tops, and each lane I tried to drive, there was either a broken down car or a car standing in snow. Snow was 5 foot deep. And I know I'm 2 lanes that I tried that were blocked with breakdowns or stranded cars. I had to reverse about 2 miles in snow and ice. And bless him, he survived it all. So I promised him that as he got me through that winter, and I didn't have the Land Rover then or anything, I had no better option, no proper option for those weather conditions. And as Brian had got through it all and suffered so terribly, I promised him that when I bought Brian, I mean, the story with Brian is the story with Brian is that Mustard got him back in the day as a non-runner, total non-runner. He picked him up on Transit Face, made a couple of videos about it, and he turned out to be a ridiculously easy fix. All that he needed to fix him was a new earth strap. That's all that had happened. The earth strap had rotted through or something. So Mustard made a new earth, and that was it. Job done. He was running. He was fine. And then he sat in the yard for months and months and months and months, and nobody wanted to buy him. He was for sale, but nobody wanted to buy him. And I'm going to the yard every Monday, and obviously it's silver. I want all of the silver cars. But I just felt I know it sounds daft, but I just felt so sorry for him. And I didn't have any money then, so I couldn't just offer to buy it. I just didn't have money. And every week I just felt so terribly sorry for him. And I made a series of videos. Absolute genius. They've done well for me, these videos. Sometimes I'm very clever. So I collated all of Mustard's videos, or all of the clips of his videos that he'd done on Brian, and put them together as one story. And I've made money from them. And there's not an ounce of my own footage in there. It's all Mustard's footage that I just put together in and I made another video saying you should buy a post facelift Rover 25. Nobody likes them. Nobody loves them. Everybody wants the pre-facelift. But here's why you should buy a post facelift, blah, blah, blah. And still nobody bought him. And eventually, I did a deal with Mustard so that I got him, and I loved him. I absolutely loved him. So that was how he came to me. Then I had that real winter with him, and I promised him. I'd already promised him that he would have a loving forever home, because he'd been on the verge of being scrapped. He'd sat unloved and unwanted in the yard for months. So I promised him a proper home, a loving forever home. And then I gave him that dreadful winter where, my God, and plucky little chap, he didn't let me down once. And so I promised him that he could go away from daily duty, and I would pretty him up, give him the spoiler, give him the nice stereo, give him some nice alloys. And he could, cause he's quite a rare car. He's a GSI, and a full spec GSI. He's a really rare thing. When was the last time you saw the Rover 25 with rear electric windows? There really aren't many about. So I promised him all of that. And then he failed his MOT. And the rest is history. He's been sitting in the yard for 8 months, getting in poor old Mustard's way. Excuse me. And of course, now I've said all of that, I feel terribly guilty at the suggestion of scrapping him. I mean, I don't want to scrap him. It's kind of a last resort, but how long do I just leave him sitting in the yard? And while he's been, you leave a car sitting in the damp, not running over a winter, guess what? Other problems develop. And that's what's happening now. Poll update. 24% scrap. 33% try and sell as spares or repairs, and now 43% are saying keep and repair when possible. Is that because I've just given you the sob story? Is that why you're all voting for keep and repair now? Are you feeling guilty, like I am, about the idea of giving up on him after he fought his heart out to get me to work through a really bad winter? And honestly, check out my videos from whenever it was, February last year, whenever it was, something like that. We had that really awful snow. The roads were closed, cars were stranded everywhere. Brian got me through. Now, all right, I'm not a bad driver, believe it or not. I kind of know what I'm doing a bit, and that helps. But what a plucky little fucker he was. What a plucky little fucker. And like I say, he was almost scrapped, and then he sat unloved in that yard, unloved, unwanted. Mustard was going to use him as his daily for a month, and he used him for 1 week and then said, I can't be asked with this. It's boring. He taxed him for the month, drove him for a week, and then just shoved him in the yard. Said, can't be asked for that. It's boring. I thought I might like it, but I don't. And poor O'Brien just sat in the yard for 5 months, 6 months. Honestly, it's in that compilation video that I did, because I nicked the bits from, do you remember when Mustard used to do the monthly yard walk around? And I nicked them all, and put them together. And it's just month after month. And here's Brian. Yeah, he's still here. Boaty loves it, but he can't afford to buy it. And it was just that month and month and month. John says, if it was me, I would keep Ryman trying to get him fixed if possible. I've been trying for 8 months. Right, let's catch up with some comments. Oh, we got as far as Simone asking what colour Brian was. I love the idea of calling him Brian. I mean, I have got, even before my teeth fell out, I had a little bit of a speech impediment when it comes to R's, and I couldn't roll my R's. I couldn't roll my R's properly. So I quite like Brian. And of course, it's a Monty Python reference. It's a Monty Python and the Holy Grail reference. And I love anything to do with Monty Python. So, Simone, you're a genius. Brian can be renamed Brian. He can. I love that. I actually love that. Oh, it's not money, John. John says that if you can afford to do it, and if not, sell him for parts. John, it's not money. I would have, at any point, I would have gladly paid somebody to come and just fix him. I would have loved to have done that. But for various reasons, it turned out to be not an option. Because after Neil, bless him, there was for a long time he couldn't be moved. He just couldn't be moved. He couldn't be driven. He couldn't even be rolled or towed or anything. So I couldn't take him anywhere else to get him done, and I couldn't get anybody to go to the yard to do it. I would have paid for it very happily, well, begrudgingly, but I would have paid for it. I mean, I might have had to have not bought something or sold something or borrowed the money or whatever, but I would definitely have done it. And I would still do it now. If there was anybody I could just pay to go and sort Brian out, I'd do it. But there doesn't appear to be. That's why, I mean, and Neil has done his level best. God love him. He's been up and worked on Brian for 2 days, free of charge, given up. He even gave up his birthday to go and work on Brian. But so it's not as easy as that, John. It wasn't even an expensive part. the part that he needed was like, I think it was 17 quid. So, it wasn't a fortune. Okay, there'd be the labour to fit it. But so first of all, I tried to pay the garage next door to do it. And they couldn't. I do love Brian. He looks a great car. So yeah, they couldn't do it. And then apparently the boss maybe could do it, but he didn't want to. And that just kind of never happened. So Neil came, bless him. And it was an insanely hard job. So Neil didn't manage to get it done in the day that he had. So Neil came up again, but Neil's coming up in his spare time, and he's a hard worker. And he's offering to come up again in next month to get him finished off. But I feel guilty about that. Anyway, let's crack on with some comments. Well, if he's silver, Boaty, you can't scrap him then. R.I.P. Brian, Joe has sent you to the crusher. He pressed the wrong poll button. Silly question, Simone. Of course it's silver. Cheeseburger says, Brian drove fantastically until Mustard got his hands on it. No, can't blame Mustard for that. Frank asks if it's possible to convert manual windows to electric ones on the ZRs. I don't know. I imagine it is. I can't think why not. They were an option, so presumably it's possible. Simone is off. Good night, everyone. Ta-ta for now. Skick says Mustard will have a booking process for repairs. Get it booked in for March 2028. Oh, bless him. Mustard's got such a backlog. We've taken on all of these cars, which is back to what I was talking to you about earlier, that I suggested today. Apparently, he made a video this morning detailing all the jobs he's got to do. Before I got there, he was telling me. And I said, mate, you're snowed under with it. I said, you're just snowed under. We've got so many. And that was when I suggested that, look, some of them, we've got to pick our battles. You're only one man. You've only got one pair of hands. And there are only 7 days in the week. So the ones that are fit for purpose, like dented Doris, I suggested that we just sell those with, a little drink on top to wipe our noses, cover our and whatnot, but just sell them off super cheap. And so rather than let them fester in the yard for God knows how long, get them sold to the right person. They won't be sold as bangers to a non-enthusiast, but get them sold within the community to somebody who wants a cheap daily or a fixer-upper or a project or whatever, and sell them cheap. Pass on the luck, as it were. So there you go. Talk to us about dented Doris if you want a dirt cheap, fully MOT'd, great driving, pre-facelift Rover 25. Oh. Sorry, I've just seen a comment. Did Brian, Mark says, bad books. Did Brian have a problematic ECU? New battery seemed to fix it, then it played up again. Right, we thought there was an ECU issue, but no, the new battery fixed everything. If you remember back, I was having all of those issues. And then I put a full charge in the battery, and that seemed to fix it. So I thought, aha. And somebody else had suggested it. So I put a brand new battery on Brian about 2 weeks before he went up to the yard for his MOT. And that fixed everything. He was good as gold. So no, as far as I know, the ECU and BCU are fine. The new battery did the job. And I've since had a similar issue with Barney, if you remember, very recently. And again, he had all of the same symptoms as Brian, not starting, cutting out, running badly. And I put a new battery on Barney, and again, problems all fixed. So the Pectron controlled cars seem to be particularly prone to low batteries. So there's a top tip. If you've got a facelift 25 and you're having ECU related issues, try a different battery as your first port of call, and it might well solve everything. It did with Brian, and it did with Barney. I want to get that posh Sony radio from Michael Jackson, Jason, the one that you can change the colour of the LEDs to orange to match the car to please the OCD. Quite right. Plus, it has Bluetooth, DAB, and CD, so the perfect radio, to be honest. Joe, I'll let you into a secret, mate. I bought one, or at least I thought I bought one. They were on super special offer with, I can't remember who it was. I could tell you, it might still be on offer. And they were on offer for 120 quid, 119.99. So I bought one on one of those easy payment things, on the never basically. But I thought at that price, can't knock that back. Brilliant stereo. It's the Sony Mex 5300, I think. And yeah, 120 quid, 119.99. So I bought one and got the email saying thank you for your purchase, it has been processed, we'll let you know when it's posted. And the next thing is I get an email saying yeah, sorry about this, but there's a delay on stock arriving. They're not going to get here until March, so you can wait until March, or you can cancel your order and we'll bung you your money back. So I kind of said, well, I'm not waiting till March, so bung the dough back. And so then I got another message saying, yeah, okay, sorry about that. My colleague will refund you. And then no refund occurred. And I got another email saying, hello, thank you for your order for this Sony stereo. Unfortunately, there's a delay with stock arriving, and they're not going to be arriving until January. Would you like to wait until January, or would you like us to refund you? And I said, well, I previously requested a refund, but it hasn't arrived. So on that basis, if they're now coming in January rather than March, I'll wait. Thank you very much. And so then I had a message saying, right, okay, I can see that you previously requested a refund, but it hasn't been processed yet. So no problem, we'll stick you on the waiting list for the stereo, and it'll come out to you as soon as it arrives. We'll keep you updated. And I said, fine. Then I got another email saying, oh God, what was that next one? Oh yeah, I got another email saying, apologies for not being able to supply your stereo. I see you've requested a refund. The refund will be processed within the next 3 to 5 working days. And I replied saying, right, okay, this is response to a while ago. The stock situation has since changed, and I'm now not wanting the refund. I'm waiting for the stereo. Got an email saying, oh, right, yeah, understood, not a problem. We'll let you know when it comes into stock. And then about 6 days after that, I got an email saying, thank you, your order has been cancelled and a refund has been issued. So that was that. What is actually wrong with Brian? Asked Chris McGuire. I don't know, to be honest. It needed a part on the suspension, a lower arm, something like that. I don't really know, but it was it needed a part of the suspension that was 17 quid or something, but is a buggered fit. The battery will be fecked now, says Mark. Stood around too long, might have a guarantee though. I think it's buggered. But I think it's off the card at the moment, and I think it's either been on charge or it's going on charge. Cheeseburger says, Mark, you're probably right. A trickle charger would save a fortune. That is a job in hand, possibly, Cheeseburger. We want to know about why you were maybe a bit wrong about James, says Trace. Who is James, says Skick. Cheeseburger says, Trace is playing for time. And Skick, it's James, a.k.a. the dustbin. Trace says, I don't know who James is, Skick. Boaty said that earlier, and I want to know who, why, what. Joe says, Skick, James is a new Freelander TV4 at the yard. Correct. Stephen S. Paul says, Skick, James is the second silver Range Rover shit bomb of a thing. Brian is rare, says Cheeseburger, and will be even rarer next week. Hello again, says Mustard. Scrapping Brian would pay to fix Lewis Hamilton, says Joe. Interesting. Skick says, oh yeah, the one that's smoking like bejesus and runs like an old transit, and Boaty picked that. Mustard has finished editing our video from today. Mark tells Skick that Freelander James is a Boaty shed calamity purchase. John Moretti said you took Brian to Milne Road to save a few quid on the MOT instead of the boys down the hill. And how much has it actually cost now? I don't even want to think. I don't even want to think about that. Video title from Cheeseburger. Brian is too good to scrap. Selling one door at a time. Oh, it was Life of Brian. Of course it was. You're quite right, Skick. And I don't like that the MacBook is quite so close to that candle, says Trace. And I saw that, and that is why I moved it. Poll update, 23% scrap, 45% keep and repair, 32% try and sell spares or repairs. Don't feel guilty, says Neil. I'll come up and sort it. And Skip quite rightly says, that's really kind of you, Neil. It really is. Neil says, I reckon I could get it ready for MOT in less than half a day. John says, Neil, you're a very nice man and you can fix Brian, mate. Mark says, Streetwise Barney had a low ampage power battery and you fitted a higher powered one. Great fix. It was. I was quite proud of that. Cheeseburger says, Neil, I reckon I could get it ready for the crusher in 10 minutes. Andrew, Ivor Spotty Botty is with us. A very good evening, Boaty and everyone. That's annoying, Jason says, Joe. I guess a lot of people bought the radio with it being a bargain of a deal. Yeah, I imagine that happened. Brian's battery is fine, asserts Captain Mustard. Other batteries not fine. Impossible to keep all those batteries charged in winter. Yeah, nightmare. Mustard, well, I don't want to tell you what Mustard did. It's not for me to tell you what Mustard told me, but it's a jolly good idea and I hope it comes off. I mean, who is it? Harry's Garage. He's got a trickle charger on each of his batteries. On each of his cars, one of those smart ones. And Hubby has got, he's got one of those smart chargers that cuts off when it needs to and whatnot, that was given to him by some manufacturer or other. And he's been using that. So yeah, Mustard definitely needs a couple of those. Everybody, email Top Don and say, can you give Project Nigel some battery trickle chargers? It'll be great publicity for you, and my God, he needs them. Oh, and while you're at it, Top Don, send one to Boaty as well. Boaty's World, great YouTube channel. And can he have the JS 2000 starter thing, please? You only gave him the 1200. and it doesn't come in a posh case like the 2000 does, and he'd like the posh case. And honestly, Top Don, he didn't shut up about your product for ages and ages and ages. And lots of us went and bought one, including Neil, who is an AA man. Lots of us went and bought one. So he's really good value for money. So send him the JS 2000 along with a trickle charger. And thank you very much. Yeah, you all email Top Don. I'm going to end the poll at that, darlings. So 23% scrap, 32% spares and repairs. The majority of you, 45%, say that I should keep Brian and repair him when possible. Poll ended. The community has spoken. So 22 of you voted. So close the math book down. So that's that then. I am happy to go with the majority. That means that Brian will not be scrapped, and we will persevere, and hopefully kind Uncle Neil will come up as and when time permits, and I will give him lots of Momo, and we can get him fixed. And while you're at it, Neil, can you fit the new BCU he's going to need to sort out the Pectron remote issue? Oh, dear. See, that's my concern with it, that do everything else. Oh, right. Oh, that has popped up on my iPad tab. I didn't see the poll, but I can see the result. There we are. I'm sure Brian's battery will be fine if put on charge with a charger that repairs batteries at the same time as charging them, says Joe. C-Tech are good battery conditioners and chargers, says Chris McGuire. Video title from Cheeseburger. A Top Don battery charger would help. All my subscribers want to buy one. Top Don gave you a battery tester so you and Mustard could junk all of your Duff batteries, says John. Did Top Don give me that, or was it the other lot? Oh, this is the battery tester, and I don't think it's Top Don. Wasn't this King Bolan? Yeah, I think this is. Open it up. I put it in the wrong way round. Should be like that. Ah, there we are. Oh, God. Fiddly. Yeah, it's King Bolan. It was King Bolan who gave me this, not Top Don. But then they very kindly gave me this, the K7 or whatever it is. And amongst all of the other clever things that does, it does the battery testing. So this became redundant. It's a very good thing, though. It's a really good thing. And again, I did really push it properly, and I know that some of you did buy it, and it is a really worthwhile little gadget. Good thing to have in your tool armory. But what Mustard needs is one of those smart car chargers stroke repairers that Hubnut's got, and that Harry Metcalf has got on all of his cars. So seriously, everybody contact Top Don and say, look, send Mustard these things. He'll give you brilliant coverage with them. God knows I'll get plenty of use. They'll be in every episode, won't they? I'm glad you're not scrapping Brian, says Joe. Oh, and Mustard says, bring Momo next week. Next week. What for you? Do you want some? We need to do a lunch with Senior Mustard at his place. Maybe in spring when the weather's a bit better. I'll bring Momo back. If you want Momo, mate, just say. Obviously, I'll bring Momo for you. Oh, or are you suggesting Momo for our lunch video next week? No, we'll stick to takeaway because next week's lunch video is Mustard and Boaty do lunch with, and we haven't really got the cooking facilities in the caravan. And if it's as cold as it was this week, we need to go to the Milkston Road so at least we can get warm in the bloody car. And next week, if it's cold like this, I suggest let's get the heater going on low in the caravan and leave it on before we go to the Milkston Road and leave it on low so the caravan is a bit warm when we get back. My food was freezing cold almost as soon as it hit the open air. And Joe says, and you got them many sales. I did. And you showed the product in many videos. I did. Yeah, and they haven't sent me anything since. Neither of them, neither King Bolin or Top Don. They're too busy giving bloody Valley Autos. Oh, is anybody else watching Valley Autos? Cheeseburger, they're near you. John, they're near you. New YouTube channel I found by accident, and I subscribed and I've been watching their videos. And if any of you have been watching, I would be interested to know what you think, genuinely. Not what I think, not what you think about their videos, what you think about their business and its likelihood of succeeding, especially given their most recent videos. I mean, their channel will be incredibly successful, really, really successful, massively successful, which is probably a good job given how their car sales are going. For those who don't know, it's a Birmingham-based couple, or Black Country, Birmingham, I think. And whatever they do, they've set up a little pitch from scratch. And they're trying to buy and sell cars from there. On a professional basis, but they also started a YouTube channel from day one of taking the pitch on and leveling the ground and putting a fence up and building an office and all of that sort of thing. And the channel is going great guns. Their car sales, not quite so good. They seem like lovely people, and I'm sure the channel is going to be huge, absolutely huge. But if anybody else is watching that, let me know. I'll post a video after this live stream, says Mustard. We had some brilliantly funny bits. I'm really looking forward to that. And Skick very kindly says, yes, I do good reviews on them as well. That's very kind. Who is the unknown banker? Asked Skick. I think it's Mustard's dad. Skick, I'm not going to tell you who it is, but I can confirm that it is not Mustard's dad. What I will tell all of you is this. I brought the unknown banker to the table, and that is the only reason I'm in the partnership, because God knows I had sod all else. I can't work on the cars. I'm only there one day a week. And so I bring very little to the party, but I did bring the unknown banker. So if any of you are wondering why Mustard puts up with me being part of this enterprise. That's probably a big part of it. That is the one worthwhile thing I added to the organisation. But no, it's not Mustard's dad, and it's not my dad. Bless him. Gosh, time is properly marching on, isn't it? I'm getting a bit peckish now. Mark says little smart chargers are on offer at £10 each. Cheeseburger says, I've had a look at Valley Autos, but can't get on with it. Where are they? Woodgate Valley. I don't know where they are, Cheeseburger. I don't know. I must have just been in late at night when I've finished whatever work I'm doing, and all I'm going to do is eat my meal, little bit of nonsense, and then fall upstairs to sleep. I just look for something to watch on YouTube. And if there's nothing on my subscription feed from the videos that I subscribe to, I have a look on suggested videos. And the Valley Autos thing popped up. And I just thought, yeah, I'll keep watching this one. It's always interesting to see a new channel. You might be able to pick up hints or tips or whatever. Yeah, I subscribed and I watched all of their videos. And they're not really the most watchable, not for me, but I was just interested to see how they grow and how they get on with the business side of things. And I think not great is the honest answer. I'm signed into a trade group they've got going on Facebook, but I don't think that's working either, and I don't think it's going to work, because the stuff that they're trying to trade, it already owes them all wrong. They've bought cars that need a bit of work, and a bit the same as Mustard. They've bought these cars, think, right, we can do some work on these, get them out, and they've found that they did a video recently, Cheeseburger, you might have seen this, saying, okay, we made a mistake. We can't buy cars, cheap cars that we spend a bit of time and money on. It just doesn't work. Not with the market as it is at the moment, blah, blah, blah. We need to buy cars that are pitch ready, get them on the pitch and get them sold. They've got good sponsorship deals with the YouTube channel, which I hope is helping, but you know, it's not for me to tell you. If you've watched the videos, you tell me what you think. And if you haven't watched them, maybe you want to go and have a look. Maybe you don't. But what's for sure and certain is the YouTube channel side of things is working. So, you know, there's that's a guidance lesson in and of itself in terms of what people will watch and how you can get a channel from 0 to monetized, not in a year, not in 6 months, but in like 10 days, something like that. Tell us about the dustbin, says Cheeseburger. Okay, right. James, the Freelander. I've got 4 minutes to tell you about James, the Freelander. And as I mentioned just before the 11 o'clock, I said I might be having to eat some humble pie and admit that he's not the car that I thought or hoped that he was, and that you were all right, that he is actually a shed. Candle isn't burning very well, is it? Try and get a bit more air to the wick. Oh no, it's just going to go out now. And of course, today I actually saw James in real life for the first time. Now, you've all said, James, you all told me. Now, I thought that you were just ripping into me for the fun of it by saying that James is a total shed, worse than Fred the Shed, so on and so on and so on. And even Mustard on his video kind of said, well, Boaty's going on about it, blah, blah, blah. But he hasn't seen it in real life. He liked the idea of Fred the Shed until he saw it in real life, and then he hated it. Now he's going on about James, but he hasn't seen it in real life. Today, darlings, I saw it in real life, didn't I? Oh yeah, I saw it in real life. I'm not going to find this easy to do. Oh, don't forget to like, says Jimmy. Oh, 22 of you have tickled that like button. Very kind of you. Okay, James. I'm genuinely finding this difficult to deal with. It doesn't come easy to me. I was right. You were wrong. James is fucking amazing. He is fantastic. What? What a car. What a car. What a car. Oh, Buddy, you've been watching. Yeah, they're certainly not turning cars over. Well, they're not turning cars over at all. I think they've only sold one, haven't they? James is amazing. I drove up there, drove into the yard, had a quick look, and I thought, that's clean. Okay, the stickers and whatnot are awful, but I thought, that's clean. And then later in the day, I had to sit in him. I started him. I want that car. I want that car so badly. James is amazing. He's everything that I... No, Neil. No. Don't donate anything to Fred the Shed. Fred the Shed needs scrapping. No, hang on. I'm changing my stance. I'm trying to do something cunning. Right, I'm trying to do something cunning here. I think Fred should be saved. I agree with you people, because I think the future of Mustard and Boaty doing cars is not to have one company car, but to have two. And Mustard has nailed his colours to the mast with Fred the Shed. I hope they're very happy together. I want James as my company car. James is amazing. Seriously, I'm not bullshitting. No, all right, I know. Yeah, he's smoking a bit. And he started perfectly for me, absolutely perfectly and easily, and just idled away perfectly, sounded exactly like Boo, no problem at all. There was a bit of smoke, admittedly, but he started fine. Apparently, he doesn't always start fine. But okay, he needs new injectors, whatever. It's the M47 lump. It's, it's not a problem. It doesn't run terrible skick. He runs perfectly. I sat in him at idle for quite a while. The engine runs perfectly, runs exactly the same as Boo does. And that engine is like a M47 sewing machine. Yeah, okay. Needs to be on the suspension sorted. Yeah, okay. Might need new injectors. Whatever. That's all easily doable. The point is, you've got a Freelander. All right, the prop shaft has been removed. It can be refitted, or a prop shaft can be refitted if you want. Or you can leave it in two-wheel drive, which a lot of people do. They drive better, they're more economical. It's a 55 plate facelift Freelander TD4 in the best color. And it's got a beautiful interior, absolutely fantastic. Looks nicer than Boo, to be honest. That color interior suits it a lot better than Boo. It's all there. It's all complete. Even the parcel shelf is there. Everything is there. And All of the common issues on an old Freelander, they're not there with James, right? Mirrors always break, never work, right? They don't work on Boo. And Boo has had every bit of money spent on it. Service history like that. On James, the mirrors are perfect. Right, Boo had that issue with the leaking sunroof. Thousands of pounds spent on it. Tens of thousands of pounds spent. James, no problem. Mustard will tell you that those lights are awful and they're this and they're that. They're actually pretty cool. They are pretty cool. There are two nice switches, nicely installed on the fascia for the two separate sets of front fog lights. And whether they're legal for road use, I don't know. You'd certainly get away with it around here, but they work fantastically well. And aside from those, he's had a whole LED light upgrade on him anyway. Somebody has loved that car and spent money on it, right? So you might hate all of those stickers. God knows I do, but they can be taken off. The point is, somebody loved that car. Somebody invested time and emotion into it. Somebody loved it. That's why it's all stickered up. That's why it's got all of the extra lights. That's why it's got the light guards. Love them or hate them. And with the exception of the driver's window, common problem on Freelanders, easily fixed. Everything works. All he needs is the front suspension bit sorting, whatever that is, the injectors and smoking, whatever that is, and he needs a stereo popping in him. And he's had a really expensive stereo in there. And again, I can tell that because if you look at the fittings for the stereo, he's been rewired, and all of the fittings for the stereo are for a really bang modern, expensive, up-to-date stereo. So you could still fit the original stereo, or he's got everything there to fit in a really posh Apple Play, all sing it, all dancing, extrons or whatever you want, double din one. So you've got options with that. He's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. The remote central locking works. All of the central locking works off the buttons. All of the windows, including the all-important rear window, not the rear side door windows, but the rear tailgate window, that works. It's only the driver's window you've got to worry about. Now, he's got that awful steering wheel cover on him. Take that off, and he's got a beautiful beige leather steering wheel. All it needs is cleaning and possibly re-dyeing. James is an amazing car. An amazing car. Fred versus James, new competition. You go for Fred, I'll go for James. Problem sorted. I've just looked at his body. Valley Autos were in Maypole by the looks of it. Oh, are they? Well, I didn't know they were around there. They are nicely installed, Mustard. They look lovely. All the dustbin needs, says Cheeseburger, is Mustard to spend 2 weeks valeting it for a start. Why put it in? Oh, God. So, James is epic. And, right, if any of you piss taken apart, I'm telling you, James is very, very worthwhile. If any of you want a cheap Freelander, admittedly needing a couple of bits doing, but if you want a cheap Freelander, get in touch with either me or Mustard and do it quickly, because I want James. So my plan is to find some excuse to blag him here for a week, which you lot have all wanted me to do. Oh, have him for a week, you'll soon change your tune. I would love to have him for a week. I would valet the life out of him. I would fit a stereo. You know, he's cracking. He's absolutely cracking. You can't talk about him in the same breath as Fred the Shed. They're completely separate. The prop shaft is a more worrying issue. Now, the prop shaft isn't isn't a worrying issue in the least. All the prop shaft means is that you haven't got four-wheel drive, and that means that you haven't got hill descent control, and you haven't got full traction control. What you have got is better economy and better driving characteristics. Now, that's a personal thing. Some people might, many people deliberately remove the prop shaft because Freelander, if you're not using it for serious off-road use, Freelander simply works better as two-wheel drive. That's just a fact. My lovely friend, Roger the cabin boy, Tim, you'll see him commenting on, he watches all of the videos. Lovely guy, gave me some parts for the Freelander that I've got ready should one ever need them. Oh, yeah, that's a thought. Mustard, I forgot about this. Right, the suspension bit on James, I've got a full suspension leg, brand new one, that Tim gave me for a Freelander. So that could be the answer to that. My friend Tim had a Freelander. He took the prop shaft off in summer, put it on in winter. So many people remove the prop shaft just to make it a better, more usable car. Now, I would love to have James, and I would love to run him as a pair with Boo, like a winter and a summer one with the different interiors. James is HSE. Oh, heated seats work on James. They don't work properly on Boo. You have to fiddle with the button. They're perfect on James. Press the button, heated seats. I didn't test the aircon, but I wouldn't be surprised if that worked too. He's just a fabulous car. He needs a sodding good clean. Mustard's already cleaned him and made a hell of a difference, but he needs a really detailed valet, or a series of detailed valets. You know how dog hairs will just keep on turning up. He needs a bit of fettling around the interior in terms of trim parts. Even I can do that. That's not impossible. But what a fabulous car. What an absolutely fabulous car. Without a shadow of a doubt, the best car that Mustard and I have ever bought. No question, no argument. It's amazing. It's a Land Rover. It's a top of the range. It's an HSE. It's coming towards the last of the Freelander ones. It's just got everything going for it, and I want it so badly. I would swap one of my cars for it like that. Keep James and sell Boo, says Joe. Yeah, I considered that. I am considering that. James belongs in a farm rusting, absolute nonsense. I look forward to the Boaty series doing a refresh on James. Yeah, I would love that to happen, Mark. I belong in Broadmoor if I buy that Freelander, says Jimmy. That really surprises me with your experience in car sales, Kick. Why is it surprising? It's a great car. It's a great car. We're talking about, it's not coming towards the end of its life very quickly at all. All right, come on then, you smart asses. What's wrong with James? What's wrong with him? Okay, he's two-wheel drive. Many cars are two-wheel drive. It's not an issue unless you specifically need a four-wheel drive. What else is wrong with him? He needs new injectors. Not a problem. And a bit of his suspension is broken. Happens to all cars. How is that coming towards the end of its life? There's no rot. There's no corrosion. The body is straight and looks fantastic. The interior is complete and looks beautiful. How is that end of life? I've got no idea what you lot are talking about. I really haven't. And I have to question all of your sanity when you're all saying save Fred the Shed, who genuinely is end of life, and you're rubbishing James, who's got so much going for him. Don't understand you. I know what you're saying, says Boaty, but it's supposed to be a four-wheel drive and can't tow a caravan up a hill. No, it can't tow a caravan up a muddy, unmade slope in a soaking wet car yard. That's not exactly the same, is it? It would and that's a caravan that's got no tires on it. Of course, it would tow a caravan up the hill in exactly the same way that Fred the Shed or any other two-wheel drive powerful diesel car would tow a caravan up a hill, as long as the surface is decent and the caravan actually has tires on it. I must admit, says Joe, I do prefer the beige interior of James. It's more tan than beige, Joe, over Boo's black interior. I agree. James is amazing, fabulous. Are there any lights on the dash, asked Skick? No. Well, there are two lights on the dash, and that's the traction control and hill descent system. But they are only they're only on because the prop shaft is removed. It's two-wheel drive, and they need four-wheel drive, and neither of them are an MOT failure, so it doesn't matter. Lights on the outside would be a start, says Cheeseburger. The lights on the outside are brilliant. They're all fully LED upgraded all the way around, and they work fantastically. Freelander lights are brilliant anyway. You know that from Boo. But James has taken it to a new level. Absolutely stunning. The best car we've bought so far is the 623, says Mustard. I don't know. You know. Is it? Hasn't got an MOT? Hasn't moved out of the yard for 6 months? At least the Freelander can go out into the land of the living. It is a nice spec, says Barry. I'll give you that boat. It's an amazing spec. It's full HSE spec. It's got everything. Electric sunroof, air conditioning, Harman Kardon sound system, full sub setup in the boot, electric windows all round, heated seats, both sides. It's got everything, and it all works. Power fold mirrors, everything, the whole kit and caboodle. So what about the humble pie you were going to eat, says Mark. There is no humble pie to eat. I was right. It's an amazing car. And whilst it has got a couple of issues, I won't deny that, it's called price range. Now, if I paid £3,000 for that car, which is what a car of that spec goes for, retail, if I'd paid £3,000, I would have grounds to complain. If I was asking £3,000 for it, you would have grounds to complain. I didn't pay £3,000 for it. I'm not asking £3,000 for it. So there are no grounds for complaint. Price range. No, Jimmy, the lights on the dashboard haven't been taken out because they illuminate correctly when you go through the ignition cycle. No, it's not wank, Skick, and it's not my ego. Believe me. I mean, you guys can think what you want to think. I'm telling you, for what we paid for that car and for what we are asking for that car, you are not going to do better. Now, you might not think Freelander is a good car. That's fine. You might not be in the market for a Freelander. That's fine too. But if you did like the Freelander, and if you were in the market for one, then the ultimate Freelander, assuming that you're pre-Freelander 2, the ultimate Freelander is a facelift, Freelander 1, manual, ask Furious Driving, with TD4 engine and the top HSE spec. And that is what James is. £3,000 retail car. So if you could buy a car for a fraction of that and spend a few quid bringing him up to speed, so that you've got a 3,000 quid car owing you, I don't know, 1,300 quid or something like that, you're in the pound seats, aren't you? There's just no argument. The rear number plate light needs replacing. I've got a drawer full of them, not a problem. And Mustard's changed his mind. No, the best car was probably the 414, wrong sold to Aaron. I don't think it was wrong sold. But yeah, we talked about that one earlier today. That was a super car, lovely car. You need to work like a flipping banger, says Cheeseburger. Buy, fix, sell in a week. I know it's a TV show, but sinking more and more cash into stock that you are nowhere near moving. You don't need projects. I agree with that. Where did the cars up for sale? Asked Chris. Facebook Marketplace. Yep. Sorry, says Mark. Freelanders are 10 a penny with those problems. Yeah, they are, but not HSE spec TD4s and not with none of all of the other common problems. So, get it ready for sale in a week and advertise it. Do a series on it. Go on, do it, says Cheeseburger. Good idea, Cheeseburger, says Skick. I would very gladly take James the Freelander, have it for a week, prepare it for sale, and sell it, except that I wouldn't want to sell it. I'd want to keep it. But that's easily doable in a week. Easily doable. But again, bear in mind, price point. In a week, I couldn't get it ready to sell for $29.95. But in a week, I could certainly get it ready to sell for $15.95, $16.95, something like that. HSE spec TD4 with it's got the 18-inch sport alloys on it. They're worth what? 300 quid without tires? And it's got a set of 5. It's a no-brainer. Stephen S. Paul says, Cheeseburger, they've got to get it together. Too many cars to look after, especially in the winter. Boaty and Mustard are just one man each, who only see each other once a week. Yeah, well, you can't count me as one man. I'm hopeless. Oh, and Ben's here. You can't keep it. This is a business, says Cheeseburger. Detach yourself emotionally from it. No profit until you sell it. The reality is, with the business head on, right? Even with the cleanup that Mustard has already done, if we took some decent photographs of the Freelander, took a video, put it on eBay with a 99p start and no reserve, we'd make money on it. That's the truth of it. And I've kept you for 20 minutes too long. Look at the time, darling. I agree, John. John has just pinged me to say, all joking aside, James is a great example of a TD4. He's got the potential to be a great example. As I say, a lot of the standard Freelander issues just aren't there. Some of them are, but not all of them. And again, just to hammer the point home, price point. Fred is our perfect company car because it owes nothing and we can make it different knowing it was saved from scrap. And Skik says, you've kind of got a point there, Mustard. But as Cheeseburger said, it is a business. Have you still got the auto with the Honda engine, says Skik? Yes, we have. You've both got bills to pay, says Cheeseburger. Advertise it, sell it, take your profit and move on. You are both too emotionally attached to the kit, meaning the stock. And that is a very good point. Is it the T-Reg one, asked Skik? Yes, it is. It is indeed the T-Reg one. The T-Reg one is a Rover 623 GSI. Turn Fred into a pickup. I'd turn Fred into baked bean tins if I had my way. Right then, darlings, it really is time to go, isn't it? We've had a jolly good catch up. How much is the T-Reg? Well, Skik, it's in theory the T-Reg is still sold, but in terms of the price, £2,300. Ugh. Gosh. Right then, my lovelies. We should all £2,304. Thanks for the live, Boaty. It's been good. See everyone tomorrow. Oh, and love and prayers to John. I second that. I mean, let's just take a second in amongst all of the rubbishing of James and myself and Mustard's business practice. Let's just remember that, you know, somebody that has become part of us, our little mad community here, had a major heart attack on Saturday and is zonked out on morphine, and let's be honest, is probably shitting himself with everything that's going on with him. So let's all just send every little bit of love and positivity and thought that we possibly can to Joe, because he's fighting. He's a fighting man, and he's not beaten yet, is he? God, he's like a weeble. He might wobble, but he hasn't fallen down. Can't remember what a weeble was now. Cheeseburger. Oh, Cheeseburger, you are an evil genius. 2304. Is that when you're selling it? And as Cheeseburger says, John, we're all in WhatsApp during the day. Yeah, do bear in mind that there is the community is on WhatsApp now, and I mean, WhatsApp is just, how can I describe what's happening in WhatsApp? It's kind of a place of laughs, love, and unmoderated shithousery is the best way that I can describe it. It's rather lovely. And it is rather lovely, and I'm glad that I did it. It's a worthwhile I know, John. I know. He's asking, will it ever end? He got over the TIAs and the you know, the thought of dealing with the tumor and then a heart attack on top of that. It's inhuman and it's inhumane. It's horrendous. And John, honestly, I don't think any of us have probably got the right words. It's horrendous. and we can't empathize with you because we're not in your position, but God knows we can understand your anguish, fear. It's inhuman. I don't know any other way to say it. It's cruel and it's inhuman, and we genuinely are with you. And in the lives on WhatsApp, and if there's anything that you need in real life, most of us are UK based, and I think I speak for all of us when if there's anything that you need, we will find a way to make it happen for you, mate. So, you know, do bear that in mind. I know you've got your family, and of course you'll have friends, but we're a slightly different kettle of fish. As you said yourself, you've got to be strong for them, and you've got to appear to be strong, and you can share anything with us. And I don't blame you. John saying he gets angry. How could you not get angry when all of that shit comes tumbling down on your head? But we're here, and if there's anything we can do, it's bloody, it's cruel. It is cruel. And you need thick skin in WhatsApp. You bloody do. Well, you do if you're me. Cheeseburger really lets rip. You think it's a shit house on the lives. See him in bloody WhatsApp. Oh, dear. Yeah, I agree. He has got every right to be angry. I mean, how do you deal with that? Oh, and just another little nod. And I had a thing ping up on Facebook today from our friend Joe, who we lost back end of last year. And it's his birthday today, or it would have been his birthday today. And his daughter put a rather moving picture and some thoughts on his Facebook profile. So happy birthday up there, Joe. And I hope you're still tracking down Bigfoot, and and if you're able to, having a check into the old lives. Oh, John, that's so sweet. John has just said, I just want my dream to come true. Get to the Yard of Dreams, Jason, and see you and Mustard and Neil and Sophie. Let's try and make that happen. Let's try and make that happen. Who would be up for John doing lunch with Mustard and Boaty? And anybody else who cares to come along? I think that would be a rather nice thing to do. John, whenever your health is up to it, then I will gladly come down on a Monday, pick you up, take you to the yard, have lunch, hang out with me and Mustard, make a film for the community, for your friends, and I will again very gladly drop you back home. So anytime you're up to it, you feel up to it, and your health is okay, just give me a shout, and I will very, very gladly do that. So there you go. There you go. I will even pay for lunch. It hurt to say that. John, you're an incredibly strong man, says Joe, to go through what you have and totally have the right to be angry. Well said, Joe. And remembering Joe, says Cheeseburger, we will meet one day. That's a sobering thought, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, it is the death and taxes are the two things we're all guaranteed. And yeah, on some plane, in some way, we will all meet up again. I'd love to meet John, says Joe. When are you planning on meeting? Diaries permitting, I would be up for it, says Cheeseburger. Neil says, let me know. I can arrange a time off. We'll do a convoy to the yard. Skick says, get Cheeseburger to pick him up in his 840. That would be fab, Neil. That would be a fab idea, says Joe. And Skick says, yeah, I will. All right. Right. A community thing. Let's do it. Let's, John, don't you fucking dare drop off on us. You keep battling, sunshine, right? We're planning something here. So let's arrange a day where we can all get together and we can grab John and somehow we'll all cram into the caravan of mislaid pants and have lunch together and have a riotous video. Let's try and do it. Yeah, let's try and do it. So we've got WhatsApp, we've got Facebook. Let's actually work to try and make this happen, shall we? John would love it to happen. Let's get it done. I'm totally up for it. I'll do anything that I can to. Boaty's paying for lunch. A lollipop and a bag of Swedish fish. Oh, Skick, that's really kind. Skick says, Joe, if you arrange it, I will donate some funds. That's really kind. And Joe says, this is what the community is all about. And I completely agree. This is exactly what this nonsense of ours is all about. I love it. I've loved it from day one. I love it. I value it. I value all of you. And wouldn't it be fabulous if this late night virtual online madness were to turn into doing something like this? I love the fact that it is turning more real life. We are meeting up more in real life, but this will be the defining moment for the community so far. So let's do it. Let's make it happen. Right. Oh, John, bless you. John says we're all making him cry, and we're all so kind. It's, I don't know. What do you say? What do you say? What do you say? We hate that you're going through this, John, and we admire you for dealing with it with the bravery that you are. And you know, the reality is that, with the exception of Joe and Neil and Sophie, who are all fetuses, the rest of us, we're all of an age where it could be us tomorrow. And that makes it all a bit more pertinent as well. That's where the empathy comes in. And just as a community, it's not a fake thing. It's not like, I don't want to knock any other YouTube channel or any other community or anything like that. But it's not a load of nonsense where we all just get together and talk about cars or talk about a particular channel. This is real stuff. People give their time, their thought, their emotion, and we need to do this. Oh, Ben. And Tracy says, that's a title, Ben. Let me screenshot that before I lose it. That is a brilliant title. Well done, Ben. Well done. Once more unto the breach, John and dear friends. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and even Trace says, if I can be there for a meet with John, I will. Jimmy says 500. Oh, he's checked the mileage. 566 miles there and back for me. If you're paying Boaty, I will have steak and lobster. Well, good luck getting that from Istanbul. You'll have to slum it, mate, and have kabida like I do. And Ben is raising a glass for Bigfoot Joe on his birthday. God, in amongst all of the fun and abuse, this has turned out to be really quite moving, hasn't it? And gosh, but it is coming up to, it's 20 to 1. It's 20 to 1. We've been going for 2 hours and 40 minutes, darlings. You all need to get to bed. I need to get something to eat. Whereabouts is it, Skik? The Yard of Dreams, if any of you need to know where the Yard of Dreams is, Kiln Lane, Kiln, Kiln Lane, Milne Row, Milnrow, and the postcode is OL16. If you look on Google, then Project Nigel is actually on Google, and you'll find it on the map. Or if you can't find Project Nigel, search for Mayfield Garage, the MOT place, and garage next door. Mayfield Garage, Kiln Lane, and that will tell you exactly where it is. What a fantastic way to end a live, says Joe. John, we're all here for you, mate, and we'll make your dream come true. That's it now, darlings. That's it. We need to end this, but we will work on it tomorrow. We will pick it up and run with it tomorrow night, and let's make this happen. Let's make this happen. And yeah, feeling quite emotional. And John, thank you for being part of this. Thank you for being our friend, and thank you for trusting us to be so open. It takes real bravery to do that. It takes incredible bravery to admit that you're angry and that you're frightened. And it takes a lot of trust to do that as well. And I'm sure I speak for all of us when I say that each and every one of us, we appreciate your trust and we appreciate your friendship and we appreciate you being part of this community. And before I start crying myself, can John travel, ask it? Yeah, well, you know, we presume that he can, or we presume that he can when we arrange this. So, John, you just let us know when you think you will feel up to it. We will do the rest, mate. We'll pick you up, we'll whiz you up to the yard, and we'll have a fun day. Community together, friends together. You can meet the joy that is mustard and stroke his perfectly conditioned silken hair. I'm sure he started conditioning his hair. Since he had the Jennifer Aniston haircut, it looks so much silkier and smoother. I reckon he started using that Pantene Pro V on it. Oh, and the beers are on Neil in the yard. Well, not if you're driving, Neil. Okay, darlings. Jimmy Quinn says, well, Boaty, we still think you're a cock. I agree. I agree. Okay, darlings, that is it. Joe, ping me. Ping me on Messenger. I need to reply to you, and I don't want to forget. Oh, alcohol free. All right, darlings, that is it for tonight. It's turned into a really late one, but I'm not going to apologize for that because, you know, I think it's been very, very worthwhile. It's been lovely catching up with you. I miss you when we're not together. Thank you for giving me and giving the community and your friends this time. And correct, cheeseburger, sod off. Let's call it a night at that, but please, let's pick this up during the day tomorrow, and then tomorrow night on Tuesday Night Live, 11 o'clock. I'll see you all there. You sleep tight, stay safe, have a safe and peaceful night, especially you, John. And I can't wait to see you all tomorrow. And John just says, thank you, Jason and community. And that's the best way to end tonight. All right, darlings. See you tomorrow. Much love. Thank you.